Welcome back to Kayfabe Talks. I'm Ethan, and I'm here with Owen and Thomas. And today we have an absolute amazing episode because last night was one of the best episodes of Raw in a very long time.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely the best since I want to say around John Cena's heel turn, probably the start of that. But I mean,
Maybe
this was a
I don't remember many Raws from that
neither do
because
I.
we never got to watch them.
Yeah, but this was a good one. So let's start
Best
off.
of the Netflix era so far,
Yeah,
perhaps.
I think so. Actually, that was a
I
really
agree.
good episode. Let's start it off with what started off the show, which was John Cena coming out saying he only has a few dates left. I think it's like 18 or 19 dates left.
19.
Yeah, but I think yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, he's almost done. Thank God. I'm so happy. I mean, no more of that annoying guy who can't even have a heel turn properly. Heel run, a good heel
You're
run, doesn't have a good one.
The
And
fact that you don't think he's having a good one might just prove that he is having a good one, because that's the whole point. Is
but it's
it's
been
not supposed to
underwhelming.
be good.
It's
Oh,
underwhelming.
Yeah,
It's not.
dang.
No, it's underwhelming.
you're playing right into his hand, man. This is how he wants you to feel. He's making it
Sorry, he's
bad on
not going to put on a
purpose.
5-star match every night.
Well, he needs
God.
to. If he's the greatest of all time, he needs to be constantly putting out bangers after bangers. But it's whatever. And yep. And then he started calling like R-Truth a joke gimmick, something like that.
I mean, he kind
Um,
of is.
He
yeah.
said his
Well,
biggest accomplishment was trying to
be him.
copy him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then of course he said he's beaten the best and the like just the best. And there's no one that can stop him. And then CM Punk's music hits, and I am very ecstatic about that. Other than the fact that the match is going to take place in Saudi Arabia,
I don't see why that's a problem.
because it's Saudi Arabia.
It's the Night
I
of
don't see
Champions,
that.
man.
I don't
I
care
don't
what
see
it
why that's a
is.
problem. How's it a problem if that's in Saudi?
Well, because they constantly pay money for certain superstars and certain storylines to be there instead of letting
Okay.
WWE make their own. And it's
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have Punk and John right now.
but because of them we got DX versus the Brothers of Destruction.
Okay, that was years ago.
I'm just saying.
No one counts that match. Not one person counts that match.
Again, I'm just saying because they like to do it their own way.
But also didn't take away from the main title scene, so I still don't get your argument.
Can you blame them for wanting a high quality match though, like Punk versus Cena? Like that's gonna be
Yeah, I
a
just wish it
great
was at
match.
SummerSlam. That's just me. I wish it was at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Well,
It's such a
that means Punk
SummerSlam.
would have had but that means Punk would have had to win King of the Ring.
I was like, whoever wins King of the Ring goes on, and I guess
No,
Queen
Yeah.
no, not
goes on.
necessarily. It could have been
Yes.
someone else. No. The winner for Night of Champions, whatever brand you're on, if you win, you go after that title's that brand's title.
Yeah, but
So if the winner's on Raw, they go after the World Heavyweight Championship, which means Punk
John's
would
been
have
on
to.
both.
Yes, but he's SmackDown's champion.
He's on both.
He's
I don't.
John Cena is not both. He's the SmackDown's champion. He has only
Whatever you say.
he's been on SmackDown
Let's see.
majority
What
of
are
his
his
title
next?
run. He's been on Raw like
Hold on.
twice.
Keep going. Oh,
But yeah, I just wish it wasn't on Saudi. I wish, someone else would get him on Saudi and then we get the SummerSlam. Because it's just such a SummerSlam match. It just feels like it's big enough for one of the big PLEs, but
okay. John is gonna be at SmackDown this week, and then SmackDown next week.
yep, SmackDown's champion. See, told you.
He's the
I don't know how long.
undisputed WWE champion.
I mean, this was made in February though, so
I'm just saying. But yeah, so one of the things, and then of course Punk mentioned the final boss. He isn't doing this for TKO. stuff like that.
Yeah, I really liked his monologue where he was talking about how he whenever he came back to WWE after a long stint in AEW, how on his list of goals was not winning the WWE Championship because the last time he won it, he said that it turned him into a monster and he didn't like who it became because of it.
Yeah.
And now he's willing to go to that dark place and kind of channel that monster energy if it means being able to stop John Cena from ruin wrestling. You know, he talked about Cody Rhodes being the best that WWE has to offer, and how John was able to beat Cody Rhodes because he used cheap shots and fought dirty. Uh, but kind of willing to go at least where in that first matchup between the two of Rhodes and Cena, where Rhodes was unable or unwilling to go, and kind of go to that dark place and do kind of a cheater's mentality, so to speak. But Punk saying he's willing to do that if it means saving wrestling, like you said, not doing it for Dwayne the Rock Johnson, the final boss, not doing it for TKO, but doing it for the fans. So definitely going to be an interesting match at Night of Champions. Early prediction, I think Cena wins just because it's too early in his retirement tour for him to lose the belt. But definitely going to be a great match for sure. And I'm excited to see, it's my first time seeing the rivalry. I know it has a lot of history. Obviously, I know both of you guys are super excited. Ethan, you being a Punk fan, and you being a Cena fan. So seeing it one last time, just how we saw Randy Orton, definitely going to be special.
Yeah, a lot of people said that Punk and Cena was one of the best rivalries of the modern era. I think Michael Cole even said that himself. That so having to see this one last time. I hope they nail it. I hope they execute it really, really well. I hope the match is really good too, because they have amazing in-ring chemistry. But with the way
Yeah,
John
his match
Cena,
with Randy at Backlash was pretty good. So
I don't think I watched that one. I think we were busy at that time. It's
Yeah,
never.
I watched
it
it
wasn't
when I
bad.
got home. Yeah, it was a
Was
good
it the
match.
greatest match ever? No, but it was still good.
I just hope they land the plane on the execution of it. But it's whatever. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, best in the world versus the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
What was after that?
AJ
Result.
Styles versus Chad Gable, which was not announced. So whenever I saw that, I was super excited because I was like, "Oh, look, it's Gable!" And then Michael Cole said he was going against AJ Styles, and I was watching with my dad. My dad loves AJ Styles, which so do I.
Yeah, AJ Styles is
I'm a
awesome.
fan of both superstars, Chad Gable and AJ Styles. So I was like, "No way, he's going against AJ." So that was a really fun match to watch. AJ Styles got the win. He had the Styles Clash finisher and was able to get the 3 count on Chad. But super entertaining match, especially for it to be the first real match of the night. Obviously that Cena Punk promo opened the show, but not bad for a first match in my opinion. Two superstars, and Chad Gable had a busy weekend. And went on match after match. He's been a workhorse for WWE.
Yeah, he had to do a Worlds Collide, and then he had to help his buddy El Grande.
Yeah, he had to stash the fireball ladder. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that match was good. I remember seeing, bits and pieces, but I liked it. I don't remember being, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
It was a very entertaining match.
Yeah, anytime AJ wrestles, I feel like it's must see. Obviously, he's called the phenomenal one for a reason. And then Chad Gable, whether he's helping his buddy El Grande Americano or working with American Made, he's putting on a show for sure.
Yeah, no, it was a really good match from the stuff that I saw. I mean, it's AJ Styles.
It didn't last super long either, but obviously they had other stuff they had to get to because they're king and queen of the ring.
Yeah.
But for it to be the opening match and not take super long, it was really good for what it was, I think.
Yep. And then next up, we got Queen of the Ring first round of Rhea Ripley versus Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan versus Roxanne Perez. That was a pretty decent match. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't bad,
I liked it.
but it wasn't like amazing as well. It was a good match. Good match. Of course, the winner was Roxanne Perez, as it should be.
I mean, obviously, I was going to sound biased, but well, I mean, it is biased. I'm just going to come out and say it. I wanted Liv Morgan to
I knew
win
you were gonna say it. I
because
knew
Liv
you were gonna
Morgan is
say
my
it.
favorite in the women's division.
I thought
Uh,
she would win. I was worried. I was worried Rio would win.
Yeah, I was
but I
worried it was gonna
wanted
be
yeah.
Rhea as
wanted
well.
Liv to win.
Well, so again, they could just continue to push the younger stars. Roxanne Perez, well deserved. Obviously, she's been great. Was really good in the Money in the Bank ladder match as well.
Hmm.
And now into the semifinals, trying to earn a shot at the title against Io Sky, which I think that would be a very interesting match should Roxanne Perez go on to win it. Obviously,
Mhm.
still 2 rounds to go, but definitely a great match. It was interesting to see because obviously Roxanne Perez is trying to earn her way into Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan's good graces in the Judgment Day after being brought into the clubhouse by Finn Balor.
Hmm.
And so right away, off the bat, kind of teaming with Liv Morgan to take out Rhea Ripley and Kairi Sane. And then, it's interesting to see Raquel come out and save Liv Morgan, pulling Rhea Ripley off the top rope. And then obviously, they're kind of getting into a brawl. And then Kairi Sane stacked up Liv, but Roxanne pulled her out of it and then stacked up Kairi Sane for the 3-pin to get the win.
Mhm.
So kind of stole it there from Kairi Sane. But it's just really interesting to see the kind of the in-ring chemistry between Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan, and
Yeah.
what it means for the Judgment Day going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like I said last episode, they're definitely gonna set up a match between the two, and I think that showed that they could, have a good match together, even if there were two other people in the match. That they could work really well, and I think the match will, be really good when they do go 1-on-1.
Yeah, because even before Dom's match, because obviously he's part of King of the Ring,
Mm-hmm.
they were backstage and Balor congratulated Roxanne, and then had JD congratulate her as well. As JD wasn't willing to go all the way, kind of just gave her a little fist bump. Then Dom, kind of just said good job, and then obviously Liv showed up and was like, "Oh, what are we celebrating?" So obviously they're building that tension week after week, leading up to, like you said, a potential match.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that was R-Truth or Ron Killings making his promo.
Not before something else happened though. You're just gonna forget about Becky, Lyra, and Bailey's segment like that?
Well, I'm looking. Oh yeah, that was my bad. They didn't. I
I was
didn't.
about to say, that's what I was
I
like,
was gonna say, I was
that's a
like,
little
don't get me
early, but
wrong,
whatever.
Ron Killings / R-Truth definitely showed up, but not after a hit and run by Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey came
He's
back.
finally back. I know you're excited about that, Ethan.
Took her
Yeah,
long
I
enough.
think I think Bailey's a good wrestler, and I think Becky shouldn't have taken Bailey's spot at WrestleMania. But
Yeah, getting a little payback for there.
hmm
Obviously, Becky had kind of cut a little promo talking about how Lyra hurt her arm after she raised it too aggressively at Money in the Bank after winning that title. So, kind of demanded her to come out and apologize. And as Lyra was making her way and they were getting ready to fight, Bailey came out of nowhere and attacked Becky Lynch, who had to make a quick retreat, which obviously led into that R-Truth segment.
hmm
Mm.
I think it'll be interesting to see if they, set up a match, whether it's at Night of Champions or SummerSlam or just whenever down the road for Bailey to try and get revenge on Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna do a tag team match as well, because the whole Lyra and Bailey versus Becky.
Yeah, but who would Becky's partner be?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Jeez, they
I'm
just did it
asking.
last night. Dang, let me think.
I am
Yeah,
trying to figure out what exactly is the next step in those rivalry.
they could.
I got nothing.
I mean, obviously, I think they would more than likely do a tag team match like that, and then obviously, have a singles match between Becky and Bailey. But I think it would be kind of interesting to see if they did a triple threat as well, because obviously, Bailey and Ira would team against Becky, but then see who turns on who to take the title. Obviously, kind of getting ahead of myself here
Yeah,
because
I mean they could do
Bailey
like a
just came back, so it's a wide open world of possibilities to see where she goes from here.
yeah, they could also do like a 2-on-1 handicap match, which has been done before.
I mean, they could, but I don't see it
I
happening.
don't see it either. But yeah, now we get into R-Truth. Happy? Anyway.
I was gonna say you can't just skip over the man like
I can
that.
skip over her.
I know you're not her biggest fan, but
No.
dang, she's the Intercontinental Champion. Show her
So?
some respect.
She
She's
ain't
one of the
she ain't the world champ.
biggest
No.
stars in the women's division of all time.
But yep, R-Truth or Ron Killings made his debut promo.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Ron Killings arriving on the scene of WWE had never seen him before. It was
I know, it's
very
crazy.
interesting to see his debut on Monday Night Raw, especially how he made his entrance. Because after Bailey attacked Becky Lynch, you know, he kind of just came out of nowhere and
On
stood
the
on the
announce
announce
table.
desk.
Yep.
So I thought that was a nice touch there.
Yeah.
You know, kind of what Cena had talked about earlier in the night about how, you know, his whole gimmick had been that he made his career off copying John Cena or whatever. He's talking about how he's not just a joke, he's not just a gimmick, and then taking out the scissors and cutting his hair. So he's got a whole new look. He's going by his real name now.
Yep.
So definitely super excited for a serious Ron Killings
Me too.
R-Truth run here.
We haven't seen that in a very long time. So
Since like the early 2000s in
yeah,
TNA.
and considering this is like his final run, I think it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I thought
the cutting of the hair really took me off guard.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting
yeah,
that.
that was pretty interesting, and I liked his
'Cause, I mean-
message to the fans too,
Yeah.
talking about
like-
how, you know, Cena was talking, and we kind of forgot to mention this. I realized this now, but Cena was talking about, like, you know, you had your shot to send somebody at me to beat me, whatever, and he said it.
Y'all sent
He thought they
R-Truth.
wasted it on saving Ron Killings, R-Truth's career. Because obviously we talked about how he was cut from WWE, but because the fan backlash and the voices for him were so loud that they brought him back for one final run. So, you know, he thanked the fans and was kind of saying, you know, don't let anybody tell you that, you know, you can't do anything. Obviously hinting at Cena, kind of talking down to them about bringing him back. So that was definitely cool to see as well.
Yeah, it's just gonna be weird because the entire time we've been watching him, he's had hair.
I mean, it's part of the new look. You know,
Yeah.
new
I know,
name,
it's
new
just
look.
weird. But I'm excited to see where this goes.
I mean, he still has hair. It's just short.
I know, but like really short.
It'll grow
But, yeah.
back.
I'm excited to see where they take Ron Killings. See where they put him.
Yep. And then next up was the King of the Ring first round match of Penta versus Dominic versus Braun versus Sammy. What a good match that was. That was an amazing match.
Yeah, it was really good. I did want. I was hoping Penta would win.
I was hoping Dominic would win.
Same.
I was
Any
actually
match
wanting,
Dominic is in, I automatically want him.
I was actually hoping Dom would win, but I knew Sammy was gonna win because Saudi loves Sami Zayn. They really do.
I forgot
Everybody
they
loves
loved
Sami
him that
Zayn.
much.
I'm not
I mean,
the biggest
they
fan.
love him. Like I forgot how much they loved him until like it was the final pinfall and the ref went one. I said, "Oh yeah."
Yeah,
And then it was over.
because Sammy likes to go out there. He speaks the language in front of the fans in the pre-show and before his matches. So, they love him to death over there because of that sort of stuff. So I should have figured it was gonna happen. Now whether or not he makes it to the finals, I don't know, but
Probably.
I have a feeling he's gonna be there. Yeah, no, it was a really good match.
Definitely a great match. Like you said, Ethan, I wanted Dom to win as well, just because I'm a huge Dominic Mysterio fan. Greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, greatest luchador of all time. You know, all the above. Self-proclaimed, obviously, greatest IC champ, but according to Wade Barrett, greatest luchador of all time. And greatest Mysterio of all time too. You know, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah, and to think he ain't even 30 yet.
Yeah, sadly, was not his night. He tried to
Uh,
go for a Three Amigos on Sami Zayn, was only able to land two of them. Should have landed the third, but he's kind of showboating a
yeah.
little bit. That allowed Sami Zayn to counter him with a Blue Thunder Bomb, and then Penta hit him with a Mexican Destroyer. So he was taking it a barrage offensively from all sides, and just really couldn't seem to get going in the match the way he usually does, especially in his singles matches. He's always so good, but. The highlight of the match for me was after Braun Breaker hit Penta with a spear and kind of looked like he was in control. The LA Knight jumped out of the crowd, hit him with blunt force trauma, and then just dipped. It's kind of a hit and
Mhm.
run with the BFT. Obviously, he was getting payback because at Money in the Bank. And it wasn't just LA Knight that they hit, but obviously kind of targeting him because he was really the only other true competitor, Seth Rollins,
Mhm.
to get that briefcase. Braun Breaker, had taken out a lot of punishment on him from Seth's orders. So to see him get payback on them, then supposedly they're going to set up a rivalry between him and Seth Rollins. Obviously whether or not that comes to fruition remains to be seen. But I think it'd be very cool. But just to see him on Monday Night Raw was something I was not expecting. I was like, holy crap! Like LA Knight just interfered with the match, and then that allowed Sami Zayn to get the haluva kick on Dom, and then get the pin and advance to the semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was very shocking to see LA Knight. Of course, now that I'm thinking about it, it does make sense because Seth did cost him the ladder match. So, and it's been 3 years that
Yeah.
he's almost had it. Now he doesn't. So I'm pretty sure he reached his breaking point. Is now going and go
And a
after
huge
Seth.
part of that is because of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed
Mhm.
interfering. And what's interesting too is Bronson Reed is in next week's match on Monday Night Raw. So could we see LA Knight come back and potentially cost him that? Like you never know.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
definitely going to be something to watch. Uh, and what's interesting too is Braun Breaker, like I legit thought was gonna win that match. Like he was dominating everybody throughout the match. Like at one point they realized, okay, this guy's so like overpowered, we have to team up on him.
Mhm.
So Penta, Sammy, and Dom like all just started punching and kicking him at the same time, kind of teaming up because he was the alpha in that ring. He was going crazy, just whether it was punching people in the face or hitting spears, just whatever it was, he was in control for the majority of the match until LA Knight hit that BFT.
Yeah, I will say, I wonder, because they're most likely LA Knight and Seth Rollins. They're probably going to wrestle at Night of Champions.
Mhm.
So would it be like a stipulation match where they can't come out and help, like a steel cage? Could it be a 6-man tag? I'm wondering, like, where is it going? I trust them, but I don't know. Like, there's so many different ways they could go right now.
Yeah.
Granted, it just started. Like, I get it, but I just feel like we should like have an idea of where it's going.
It'll all come in time, I'm sure. Just gotta tune in to
Yeah.
SmackDown, and then, like I said, potentially with Raw next week with Bronson Reed trying to qualify for the semifinals. Maybe Knight comes back and costs him, and then that makes Rollins even more angry. Just whatever it is, because really all we saw from Seth was him talking to Braun backstage about how they're either going to take the titles by force or by heist. Obviously, talk about Money in the Bank, and then with Breaker and Reed both in the qualifying matches. Should you go on to win that tournament, you get an automatic shot. So now Bronson Reed is really their only hope to get their hands on both titles. But yeah, and then even at the beginning when he came out when Cena and Punk were talking, he didn't actually say anything. He just kind of stood there, letting them know, like, hey, I have the Money in the Bank briefcase. So
Mhm.
anything you guys try, like, I can one up you. So definitely interesting to see. It really seems like he's the main star on Monday Night Raw. Holding all the power. Obviously, when you align yourself with a guy like Paul Heyman, it comes with benefits. So definitely gonna be interesting to see how they set it up, like you said, Owen, like where it's going.
Yep. Then we had a few backstage segments, and then Nikki Bella came out. I didn't watch
That
the
was
segment.
I did.
that
It
was
was a
a
cool
segment.
segment.
Yeah,
I didn't.
it was a good segment.
I didn't watch it because I was busy putting stuff in my room. so I wasn't paying attention to it. So I have no idea what happened.
I mean, Nikki Bella just said a couple names, and then Liv Morgan was like, "Why didn't you say mine?"
Mm.
Like, I don't. Was she even done listing the names? I don't even remember.
She was. She said
Okay.
Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and I think like Roxanne Perez.
Stephanie.
And then Liv Morgan came out and was like, "Well, why didn't you say my name? Like I'm the best in the division," which I tend to agree. But again, that's just me. And so kind of started listing her accomplishments, saying that Nikki Bella was jealous of her, and that's why she didn't say her name. And then, tried to attack Liv. Did Nikki Bella, and then Liv hit Oblivion, her signature finisher move. Before exiting the ring. So I thought it was a good segment.
Yeah.
I'd say Nikki Bella got a pretty good pop just because she's a Hall of Famer and within her hometown in Phoenix. But it was really cool to see her back since she hadn't been since Royal Rumble. And it looks like to me, because she did mention Evolution and was talking about how she main evented the first one and whatnot, that potentially her and Liv Morgan could have a match at the upcoming Evolution.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking she might be out to talk about Evolution and set up a match.
Yeah. So it seems like it could be against Liv Morgan. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see if she's on Raw next week.
I doubt it, but I do think it'll be Evolution.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the main event. Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I also did not watch this one. I was just in my room. I was playing a video game. Leave me alone.
I mean, I had it on in the
game
back.
could you have possibly been playing?
Days Gone. Zombie
It's
survival
the World
games.
Heavyweight Championship.
Starring Sam Witwer. I don't care.
I'm starting to think you're not even a real wrestling fan. What the
I'm
heck?
more of a wrestling fan than you. I watch
I watched
AEW
segment last night.
I watch AEW. I watch more than just WWE. I am a wrestling fan.
I was glued to my TV watching every single segment. What the heck? Missing the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship?
Okay, in my defense, I thought it was gonna end with like Seth Rollins attempting to cash in and then Jey wins.
It did not.
That's what I thought it was gonna happen because I'm used to that sort of booking of the Money in the Bank briefcase.
So you didn't want to see that happen?
No, because I knew Seth wasn't gonna cash in.
You just said you thought that's how it would end.
No, I thought he would walk out and attempt a cash in, sort of like mess with Jey to sort of distract him. And then it fails, and then Jey wins, and then he
not what happened at all.
Yeah, sorry for being wrong. What are you expecting of me? I'm only human.
I didn't mean it in a negative way. I just meant it's not how it happened.
But yeah, I am a little surprised they made Jey lose the title. I'll be honest.
Yeah, Gunther ended up putting Jey to sleep, had him in that chokehold that, like I said, pre-show whenever we were talking about it off air. We're kind of going back and forth. Jey kept trying to put him in the sleeper hold, and then Gunther kept trying to put Jey in the sleeper hold. They're just kind of going back and forth, and eventually Gunther got the best of him. And Wade Barrett and Michael Cole brought up numerous times about how Jey had been kind of wearing himself thin. Obviously, teamed with Cody at Money in the Bank, and when they beat Cena and Logan Paul. And, he had tape around his ribs, but Gunther was able to rip that tape off, kind of expose those ribs and get some punches and kicks in, just really hurting Jey. And, Jey did all he could. There were multiple times where he hit him with a spear and then an Uso splash, but still couldn't put him away on a 3 count. So that's when you're kind of thinking, okay, he's hit his finishing move twice, and it hasn't worked. Could Gunther really win? And that ended up being the case with him getting the choke out, putting Jey to sleep, which I did not see coming at all. I thought if the title was going to change hands, it'd be on a PLE, like how it's been going lately. But for it to change in a Monday Night Raw, just how exhilarating that was. And like we said at the start of the show, just a great show. Probably best in the Netflix era so far.
Yeah, that it was really surprising. I was looking back and forth like I usually do, and I just remember being in shock, really, of just that they
I was
did
like,
it.
no way that just happened.
Yeah, and I saw earlier his reign was only like 50 days.
It wasn't a
Yeah,
long
it
one.
was way shorter. Although I'd have to imagine, and we mentioned this in the last episode, talking about Lyra Valkyrie and Becky Lynch's rivalry. Now that it's 1-1, I feel like they'll have another match.
It is not
later on
1-1
down
for
the line.
Gunther and Jay. It's been like
In
4
this
to
rivalry,
But I mean,
1.
in championship matches,
Still,
championship match.
Jay's lost to
since
Gunther
like
a ton.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying for the World Heavyweight Championship,
in this rivalry.
yeah, and this current run they're in from starting at WrestleMania. Now that it's 1-1, I feel like maybe they'll have another match down the line. Definitely be interesting to see if Rollins decides to cash in on Gunther for that World Heavyweight Championship. And I was thinking about it too because Michael Cole mentioned it a couple times throughout the night. For next week's King of the Ring, they still have yet to announce who the fourth competitor is going to be. Because obviously, Adam Pearce, the general manager of Monday Night Raw, gets to pick. And, I wouldn't be surprised now that he's lost the World Heavyweight Championship if they put Jay in that fourth slot.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I hope that doesn't happen.
I mean, they could, but I don't think they will.
I'm not saying I think they will,
Yeah.
but
I hope they don't.
Because they already put Dom in one spot. They already put Penta, already put Braun. So really the only person I can think of maybe that they try and throw like AJ in there. Maybe El Grande Americano.
Maybe.
Finn Balor.
I hope it ain't Finn. Because at that point it's just a wasted spot. Because he ain't winning.
Much to Owens.
He ain't winning. I'm sorry, but Finn is not winning the slightest bit. What's up? Hey, Finn is not winning. Finn's not winning. I'm sorry to tell you that, Owen. And he ain't winning.
Hey, I'm back.
Finn is not winning, Owen. I hate to.
Thomas,
I
can't hear you.
I said I'm super excited to see who they put in that fourth spot.
Yeah, I have. I think it's gonna be like Ilya Dragunov returning from injury because he's been seen at the Performance Center training.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be.
Well, because I know
like,
Rusev's in the match too, right? It's Rusev, Bronson Reed.
I also feel like it's gonna be the NXT. I feel like it's gonna be the
NXT.
Maybe I don't know. I just wanted to finish my sentence.
Like as the third, isn't it Sheamus the third?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
That's my bad for not remembering.
I feel like I have like a guess that the fourth one's gonna be NXT superstar Ricky Saints.
It could. It won't be Trick because I mean I wanted it to, but
he
then
has
I
a title.
He's TNA.
TNA.
So, but
maybe
when I saw it was
maybe it's Joe. Maybe it's Mr. Iguana.
Yeah, Mr. Iguana.
Yeah, it could be Mr.
When I saw the mystery spot, I was like, oh, maybe Trick. And then later in the show, I was like, oh, it's not happening.
Yeah, I'm super excited for them to announce it and see who it's going to be.
I'm glad Asuka's back for the women's.
They could put Theory or Waller there too.
Please be
Maybe because they were arguing in the back. I mean, you could listen, but they were arguing, so maybe.
That's when Becky was walking out, they were arguing. She like walked by them and was kind of just staring, like, "What the heck is going on?"
Maybe. One can hope.
Yeah, especially if it was Theory. I love Austin Theory.
Give me the bracket.
I saw the bracket on the SmackDown side of things too. Cody's in it. LA's in it. Randy Orton. They had some great people. And also on the women's side, I saw Alexa Bliss in there as well. So definitely going to be exciting.
It is Sheamus.
On Monday Night Raw.
I found the bracket.
Sheamus, that's right.
WWE site.
I knew that. I just couldn't remember. But it's Sheamus, Rusev, and Bronson Reed. So definitely going to be interesting to see.
I mean, just those three would kill.
What's the bracket look like for this Friday for SmackDown? I think because it was Randy, LA, and then I can't remember who the other two were.
Alistair and Carmelo. That's gonna be a really good match.
That's a great fatal four match. Oh my goodness.
Or or it's Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Andrade, or Shinsuke Nakamura. One of those.
Come on, we all know Cody's winning that. Like, let's
Yeah,
be
there's
honest.
no way Cody
Are
doesn't
you
win.
kidding me? They're giving him a cakewalk. Are you
Yeah, I was gonna
serious?
say they gave him the lesser side of the bracket.
Mhm.
Whoever wins the first match that you guys just mentioned with LA and Randy Orton, and Mello,
Mhm.
with Aleister Black, like they're gonna have to basically walk through fire in order to win that match. Like, oh my
I hope it's
goodness.
not Randy.
Yep, and
Like, if Cody wins, I hope it's not Randy.
yeah, because we need a rivalry.
That match needs to wait. That
I
match
think
needs to wait.
LA.
There's too much history.
I hope it's
Yeah, I
LA.
did.
LA.
LA
I do too.
or
Or
Carmelo.
It's just too good of a match to say I just want this person. I'm gonna be honest. It's
That's
too good of a match.
fair. But I do want LA.
Now for
I think Cody's gonna win it all.
Now for the women, I hope not because then that means we get
Cody-
3 matches of him versus Cena and Cena's farewell tour,
Exactly.
and that is dumb.
Exactly.
I don't want that.
Sorry, most likely happen.
Now for the
Hate to
women's
tell ya.
side, for Raw next week, it's Asuka, Stephanie, Raquel, and Ivy Nile.
Stephanie will win
it's gonna
that,
be
I imagine.
Like,
They're gonna push her just like how they pushed Roxanne last night.
yeah.
And for SmackDown, either this week or next week, I don't know which one is gonna be. For the first match that I see it right now, it's gonna be Charlotte Flair versus Alexa versus Chelsea versus Candice LeRae.
That'll be a good match too.
Any of the first 3 can win. I'll say that. Candice
Mhm.
LeRae has no chance.
Now the other
I'm
one,
sorry.
the other
She
one
stands
is
no chance.
the other one is extremely obvious who's gonna win. We got Jade Cargill versus Michin versus Piper Niven versus Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. No, I'm kidding.
It's
I'm
gonna be
kidding.
Jade Cargill. It's the easiest one.
I was gonna say, I'm guessing Jade Cargill.
That's
is
the most
who you were gonna
obvious
say.
one I've ever seen.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Nia won.
I wouldn't be
But it's probably gonna be
surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Nia wins, but at the same time, she won it all last year. She won Queen of the Ring last year. So
back to back.
I hope not. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would not be surprised if they give it to Chelsea Green. Would not
Me
be
neither.
surprised. Wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I wouldn't be happy if Charlotte won it, but I like the match.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see it happening.
I think if Chelsea Green does win, it'll be because the Secret Service interfere.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really know who all
Piper Niven has her own match.
It's like, no disrespect to Chelsea Green, but she can't win without interference. It's kind of like Liv Morgan, like where she kind of needs Raquel or like the other members of the Judgment Day's help. And that's not a bad thing. Obviously, she's a great superstar. She's been great for the SmackDown brand, longest reigning United States Women's Champion. You know, for a reason, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think that Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are the most likely winners, but I still wouldn't be shocked if they give it to Chelsea Green. Again, I think it'll come with interference, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. We saw last night, obviously, that Sami Zayn was able to get the win because of LA Knight interfering.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens. I mean, this tournament's definitely gonna be an interesting one.
I just think with Piper Niven have her own qualifying match, I don't think she'll do it. But I mean, she might. See what happens.
Yeah. But yeah. I guess the only thing left is really just talk about any other wrestling news. I mean,
not that I've heard.
I mean, tomorrow there's another 4-hour episode of AEW, and that is a stacked card that they have. It really is. We're talking. These are gonna be some bangers. Hold on, let me pull some up. These are gonna be banger matches.
I mean, Thomas will have no clue what we're talking about, but
he
sure,
needs to watch it.
Jericho wrestling?
No, I think he's doing something with his band. Actually, I don't think he's. But no, like this card is one that'll make you want to continue watching AEW. I'm not even kidding. I highly recommend this upcoming one.
Yeah, Chris Jericho is on tour right now, so
with the band.
Yeah, Which makes sense
At
because
least
he has
that's
been
what.
doing a lot of
Maybe we'll
wrestling.
have to
Yeah.
go catch a show.
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing
I
Chris
doubt that.
Jericho.
Highly doubt they'll come here, but okay.
Yeah.
I know, just messing.
Hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
It's so
Pull
funny
up
that he's
what?
in a
The
band.
match card.
Oh,
I mean, 4 hours tomorrow at 8 on TBS and Max. We got a contract signing between two wrestlers that have had countless 5-star matches against each other. I mean, Osprey and Strickland too. That's gonna be amazing.
that
We
would
got
be a good
Timeless
one.
Tony Storm versus Julia Hart with Mercedes Moné on commentary. That's gonna be a good match. We got the Hurt Syndicate versus Street Ball Bailey, Commander, and Kevin Knight. I mean, it's a trios match. So Mystico returns. TJ versus Megan Vane and Penelope Ford. We got Kyle Fletcher versus Anthony Bowens. That's gonna be a good match. Thekla, I think that's how you pronounce that.
I don't know. Never heard of
Versus
her.
Queen Aminata. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I don't know who those two people are. Either way, stat card. Thomas, I highly recommend that you watch that tomorrow. I know you won't. You'll find some way to get out of it. You'll probably be like, "Oh, I'm watching a movie," or "Hey, I'm playing a game with my family." And I'm gonna be like, "That sucks." Put it on in the background.
Hey, if you can play a game during the World Heavyweight Championship, then
I'm just
I get a
saying.
pass.
I'm saying you, you gotta watch AEW, man. They put on some really really amazing matches, and to definitely back up on the rise. I highly recommend it. Even though I know you won't watch it, you won't
Has its
listen to my
moments.
advice.
It has its
Uh,
moments.
you shut your
WWE
mouth.
is all I need, man. They have
Oh, it ain't.
the American Nightmare.
Yes, but you get pick your own superstar. You don't have to listen to what the audience says. Pick your own.
I didn't listen to what the audience said. I was like, oh, I like Cody Rhodes.
Well, you never know who you might like on AEW.
Chris Jericho.
He ain't wrestling. I meant now.
He gave a name though.
At least he didn't say Edge.
Who?
Adam Copeland.
There you go.
Idiot. Yeah, that kind of does it. Really. I mean, there's not really much
Yeah.
we can
I don't know what else
talk
we could
about.
talk about.
Just gonna be what sounds like an incredible Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be a really decent show too for SmackDown.
Yeah, especially because Randy's gonna be back.
Yeah.
Or it's a Cody Rhodes match. They didn't advertise which one's which yet. So
I
we just have
think
to
the
go on.
ones because what I saw at least last night. So
Mhm.
whenever they put the bracket up, it seemed to me because, and this is just because last night's ones from Monday Night Raw were on the left side, that the ones
Mhm.
on the left side maybe
Would be
Maybe.
first.
were the first week, but I'm don't quote me on that. That's just
I
because
think you
Raw
might
was
be
in the
right.
top left,
Mhm.
and then
Maybe.
SmackDown was below it. So I don't know. But either way, Cody could be back on SmackDown for a second week in a row. Which if he gets to win, that'd be great to see.
Mhm.
And if not, if it is the other match, then Randy is back. So it's a win-win either way.
Mhm. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Kayfabe Talks. Thank you all
Mhm.
so much for joining and watching or listening on whatever platform you chose. Probably Spotify or YouTube because that's the only two platforms we got at the moment. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see y'all in the next one.
Peace.